So when is our Hardware 3 Model Y going to get upgraded to Hardware 4 or 5 or whatever they may be doing? That's what we're going to talk about today. So last week, Tesla had their earnings call, and they actually talked about a little bit because somebody had a question of when will the Hardware 3 cars be updated to whatever needs to be updated to Hardware 4 or Hardware 5 or whatever it may be in order for them to do unsupervised FSD. As you know, right now, I've had a few problems with my Model Y on Hardware 3. Our Hardware 4 one works awesome on FSD. That has version 13, 13.2.9, and our current Model Y Hardware 3 is still on the, I think it's 12.6.4. And unfortunately, not all Hardware 3 cars are this bad, but ours is almost unusable because it will often hug the left side of the lane and not drive the appropriate speed. It'll just go really slow and jittery and stuff like that. So it's actually worse than it was on previous updates. So I really wish they would just do something about that. But it doesn't sound like they're going to even focus on it or even pay attention to it at all for quite a while, because on this earnings call, they did actually confirm that they are going to first work on Hardware 4 unsupervised FSD, make sure that that is working completely. I'm not sure if that means everywhere or just in certain jurisdictions, because the way the rollout sounds like it's going to happen is as they do robotaxi in, say, Austin. Right now they're doing Austin. Say they do it in San Francisco, and they do it in, I don't know, Florida or wherever they're going to open it up next, Phoenix, Arizona. So they have it working as robotaxi in that area, and they have the safety monitor out of the car. That's when they'll probably feel like, okay, this software is ready for it to be unsupervised, and it would probably be unsupervised really just for that location, because regulations are not going to allow it to be across the country. So even though you have unsupervised FSD, I would imagine that it would only be in, say, the Austin area that the robotaxi can operate in. And then once you get out of that geofence, then the car would probably switch to supervised. So it would say, okay, now you have to be supervising the car. You can no longer, just ride without paying attention. So we'll see how that happens. Potentially, that's going to be released to our cars this year. That's what, we're told, that the Hardware 4 cars will have unsupervised in some jurisdictions by the end of this year. And so I would imagine it'd be in those robotaxi areas where they felt like they've got tons of miles that they can really show that they can do unsupervised and safely before they're going to release it to just the general public. And then at that point, once they got that solved, so again, I don't know if that means everywhere or just in those jurisdictions, that's when they're going to begin thinking about what they're going to do with these Hardware 3 cars. So my guess is that we're not going to see any update to the Hardware 3 cars anytime soon. I would imagine that we're probably not going to hear anything about it for at least another 12 months, I would say, because I would be surprised if they even think about it until they've gotten unsupervised and Hardware 4 cars to the general public for a lot of areas before they would even worry about the Hardware 3 upgrades. So what does that mean? Now is a good time to purchase a Tesla if you wanted to get a Hardware 3 upgrade to Hardware 4. They also mentioned that Hardware 5 is likely not coming until the end of next year. And if that is the case, then you're really not missing out on much. So you don't have to worry about missing out on the Hardware 5, because if you take delivery of a Tesla by the end of September this year, that'll be last opportunity to get that $7,500 tax credit. You also, right now, at least have the free FSD transfer. So if you have a Hardware 3 car like we do, and you would like to transfer the FSD from the Hardware 3 to the new Hardware 4 car that you're purchasing, you can do so. So they have a lot of promotions going on. I imagine they're going to have a really big quarter, and they'll probably reduce some of those extra incentives to purchase a vehicle as the quarter goes on, because they're likely going to get busy and not be able to produce as many as they have demand for. And you have to take delivery before September 30th in order to get that tax credit. So after that is going to be the real question: what's going to happen to the price of vehicles? They might come down a little bit just to kind of make up for that. Also, they're supposed to be coming out with the more affordable model, which supposedly is just a Model Y, as Elon mentioned. But I imagine it's a stripped down Model Y, possibly a shorter wheelbase, a little bit smaller. So it's going to be a smaller, cheaper car. Hopefully it's significantly cheaper, because again, you're losing that $7,500 tax credit at the end of September. And that's when they're thinking about releasing the more affordable car. So you have to make up more than $7,500 basically in order for it to be cheaper than what you can purchase a Y for right now with that credit. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. But again, if you're holding out for the Hardware 3 upgrade to Hardware 4 or whatever it may be in order to get full self-driving unsupervised, I would say you're going to be waiting a long time, probably 2 years, because even once they decide what they're going to do, it's going to take them a while to execute that. And they don't really have much incentive to rush that in any way, because it's going to cost them money if they're going to have to take out the computer, or if they have to take out the cameras too. They might have to do both. So yeah, something to consider. So I don't know. What do you think? Do you think that they're going to do something about the Hardware 3 computer earlier than that? Or do you think it's actually going to be 2028 or something like that? I'm not sure. I would say we're looking late 2027 at the earliest. So anyway, let me know in the comments what you think. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll catch you on the next one.